In Singapore, dear brothers and sisters, we always like to be in a hurry, aren't we? Even in the way we use our language, we are in a hurry. We constantly search for shortcuts and abbreviations. We call our Vicar General VG and our parish priest a PP. And we do not go to Johor Bahru but to GB, and not to Kuala Lumpur but to KL. We KIV and work OT. Years ago, I met a man in the staircase who was on the way to the RCIA, and I asked him, where do you come from? What was the day? He said, oh, I have been doing OT. And I thought it was that meant Old Testament. But he meant he had been working overtime. We joined the PIE and the ME, and we go to the ROM for our marriage. And we have the MPC, etc., and the NCC nowadays. And there are, an enormous number of abbreviations. Lately I was in a priest meeting, and Father Philip Heng was explaining his plan for the coming years, and he was using all sorts of abbreviations, and I couldn't hold myself back, and I said, my dear Philip, if I may still call you like that because you are Monsignor now, my dear Philip, I have not a clue what you are talking about, and if I have to explain to my people what you are saying, how am I supposed to do that if you all the time use abbreviations? I met a man who said, we wait till Feb. I thought, what the heck is he talking about? Feb, what is Feb? Feb, oh, February. I wanted to say to him, well, dear friend, can't you use your mouth properly? Is there something wrong with your jaw? Is it out of joint? I feel very fed up with this abbreviation fashion in Singapore, which also comes in emails, you know that. When you say, I see or see you, oh my God. Totally silly, you break down the whole language. And so, following this awful, you remember, repeat, awful Singaporean style of abbreviating everything, I did something similar long ago, you know that already, by telling you that in the season of Lent, you must make it a particular point to watch your CPF. I said it, of course, with my tongue in the cheek, because CPF is not meant here to stand for Central Provident Fund, but for the three traditional practices of the Lenten season. The C stands for charity, the P for prayer, and the F for fasting. So first of all, charity. The practical love for our neighbor, especially the poor and the needy. The Second Vatican Council states there is an absolute obligation that binds every Christian to help the needy, whether he be an old abandoned person or a foreign worker, unjustly treated. Helping the poor is an absolute obligation for us. Not just something optional, not just something, well, I have a good heart, I'm generous by nature, I have a hole in the hand, so I give. Other people are more stiff, they think twice before they give 1 cent away, but I'm not like that. so I like to socialize, I like to be generous, so I'm more helpful. No, it is an essential obligation for every Christian to help, in particular those who are needy and poor. Therefore, dear friends, in this season of Lent, we ought to make it a special point to give our generous support to the poor in practicing charity. Here in Singapore, as you very well know, we have the envelopes of the Charities Week, which will be distributed later on in Lent. They might be called now different. You have all sorts of new names again, Caris, Caritas. I have no clue what it all means. It means for the poor. That's it. The whole thing is for the poor. All this name giving is all actually irrelevant. It comes to the same. And here in our parish we have something particular. For in our home parish we have, even years ago, we have started the so-called youth campaign for the poor, already 25 years ago, every year repeated, which is held for the same purpose, to help the poor in Singapore, for the same purpose of the Lenten campaign. So, dear friends, be generous with it, because helping the poor is a way of worshipping God. Is it not Jesus himself who has said to us, what you have done to the least of my brothers and sisters, you have done it to me. The second point is prayer. In Lent, more than in any other time, we must pray. And not just only pray when we seek God's help. Help me, save me, protect me. I have no job, give me a new job. I have pain in my leg, take the pain away. I feel uneasy, make me feel more comfortable. No, we must pray, try to pray, to seek God for himself, to absorb his presence in our life, so to speak, to be with him, and to enter him more and more with all our heart, with all our soul, with all our strength, with all our mind. And such a prayer is never easy.